I like these chairs better.
Run it back.
Awesome. Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of the Illini Disc Golf Podcast. A new name this time. I don't know what it's going to be, but my name is Dalton Hastings, and I'm joined by
Caleb Martin,
Dan Dravitt,
and Nick Puttycomb.
Awesome. So a lot happened this weekend. This is our first podcast episode not oriented around college disc golf results or tournaments.
Necessarily.
Necessarily.
We'll talk about it.
We're going to kick you off with one of Dan's famous games.
Yeah,
and
Dan's games.
Then we're going to, we need a better name. If you have a better name, comment. And then we're going to do some Champions Cup review and then kind of talk about what we want in the college disc golf scene. So why don't you explain the game, Dan?
All right, so we're going with another draft. We should call it Dan's draft.
Yeah.
But Dan's game it's funny in a different way. But the topic of today's draft is things you say while someone's disc is in the air or your own disc. It can kind of be a diss, sure. Doesn't have to be. Could be a positive thing. Could be a negative thing.
It's going to be negative.
For this one, there's a few less options, so we're going with 2 picks. You get a starter and you get a bench player.
You think Oof goes number 1 overall today?
It might. It might.
They're already in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's already retired number and whatnot. So I guess there's not really a fair way to do the first pick. We could just start.
Numbers generator.
Yeah, sure. Numbers generator it up. I don't know how that's going to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're all on numbered mics. You're one over there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
let's just do that.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Why don't you start us off this
Oh,
time?
you just want me to start off?
Let's go with the numbers?
Sure.
Okay,
just
do it.
Yeah, since you're one.
I will gladly take first pick.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing to call while in air is fade. You know, every time you see a disc, it's heading towards a tree, you're like, oh, I need this disc to get down now. Please fade.
Would you say it with the cadence that you say it in round? Just one more time for us.
Fade.
Because I think that's an important part of the call.
Of course, it adds some context.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good 1-1.
Very solid pick.
I think it's the best one.
Yeah.
That's why I picked it first.
Well,
We're all very biased.
We'll talk about it.
Oh,
But Dalton,
okay.
you got one?
Got a better
My
one.
favorite one is when someone turns away and you just go, "Oh, get in!" And then like, nowhere near the basket. You know, just give them that false hope, or like, you know,
I love get it.
tell them, "Oh, it turned," and it's like, there's no way. It's like Spike Heiser angle. It's like it turned over, man. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I'm gonna say
a good player across all things. You know, you can use get in a lot of situations.
That is true.
Turnaround is a good one, but there's a lot of places for that.
I've been hit with the get in by Dan. Actually, the most vivid one was hole 14 at Northwood Black.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
And it
that,
was a
actually.
forehand, and I was like, "Should I run it?" Everyone's like, "Yeah." I threw it. He's like, "Get it!" And it like hit the first trap.
I've been lethal with the get in. All right, next pick. I think it's crazy that this is on the board. I'll say it all the time, but like, you know, I mean, it's the classic, the one and only. Nice.
Yeah,
Like, you know, you're nice to me. It's nice.
Boring pick.
There's so many different forms
I know
of
it's
nice.
a boring pick, but do you know what comments we'd get on this video if we left nice on the board?
We would
for
get
any
nice.
other
We would
genre?
get
We would get nice. So
Nice draft.
I'm going with that. Tossing it over to Nick here.
All right. I think this one is actually, it might be a twin to the fade over there. I think they came from the same family growing up and working on this. And I'm going to go with Stable Up.
Stable
Yeah,
up.
there we go.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the same problem. You know, see it heading right towards that tree. Come on, Stable Up. It doesn't quite get enough around there.
That's good.
I think
Snake
we're gonna go
Or we
snake.
just
Yeah,
go
No, I
snake?
think we should go back to
Oh, I think
Caleb.
it's a
Okay.
snake all
For
day.
entertainment purposes, it makes way more sense.
Nick just got
honestly.
screwed.
Oh, there goes my pick. No, let's do it.
We definitely prepared for this.
My second one is kick left or kick right. It's one of those where he's not going to be good. You know it's not going to be good unless you get very lucky. But when you get it, it feels so good because like the disc glistened, you know? It gave you what you wanted.
Well, it's like when you know it's going to hit the tree already, it's at least you're giving it some like
Exactly.
direction. You know, you're like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're going to hit that tree, at least kick left.
Yeah.
That's funny. That definitely reminds me of like get through. Like, you know, when people say, "Oh, 90% air," or they're like, "No, it's not." I'm gonna give it a good old fashioned skip.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You got to throw something stable.
You're just
wide
like
rim.
way too far right of the pin, and it's like
Or it's
you
like-
need that.
You
Or
turf
the
it.
forehand.
Turf it at like 80 miles an hour.
Get back in the air, right?
Gets a second flight, but yeah.
I'm gonna pick one that is accompanied with emotion, and it's So you got to hit him with the get right, you know, and that is different than kick left, right? Because kick left is it's like you're going towards a tree, you know, it wasn't a great shot, you needed to hit that tree, but a get right, you know, like you're still in the air, you're cruising, you just got to get right. Are you hyzering? Yeah. Is it a backhand? Also, yeah. But like, You need to get right.
100%. Nick, rounding us off.
Yeah, I think that mine was too similar to that, so I gotta pull one here on the fly. But I think this is a relation to oof. We're gonna go with a pure, just a guttural kind of response with a come on. No, it's not going where you want. Come on.
I don't even think I put like the exclamation point. I think I gotta go to the emojis and put the shrug. I gotta. Oh, I don't even know how to use that, but yeah, that's pretty funny.
These are solid picks.
I like
good starters, good backups.
Yeah. I think this is good. I mean, vote in the comments on your favorite draft.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty fun seeing the comments from the last one, and people would come up to me and be like, "I definitely liked your draft."
It became a bit of a cultural moment in the club. I think.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
people started saying things, and we started seeing things in a much more negative light.
All of them were disses.
Yeah,
all of them.
All of them.
You give them a list to pick from, right?
Exactly.
This is also a lot of disses. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we're a very negative.
I guess we're just a negative.
Apparently.
Maybe next week or whenever. I mean, not next week. Whenever we do it again, maybe it'll just be like positive things.
Maybe from the whole summer. Maybe like the one positive thing you actually heard while you're playing over the summer. Since you're going to hear all these other things, but maybe somebody gives you a sincere, like, that was an amazing shot. You can write that one down and bring it back.
Yeah. I'm already thinking of things like, you throw really athletically, like stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's Dan's draft.
Ryan can never be on this podcast.
We were actually just talking about bringing him on today.
I knew that was going to happen. I've played so many rounds with that guy where not one nice thing has been said.
You know what's really funny is he said the same thing today. He razzed one of us, and he was like, "Yeah, man, me and Dalton will go through a round and not a single nice thing."
And we'll have
each other.
We'll have like chain hits for ace, like 80-foot death putts, dead center, and just nothing. Just so funny. All right. Well, that was a nice game. Thank you for that one.
No problem.
Love that. So now we're gonna move into the Champions Cup review. I'm guessing you guys watched it, saw the scores.
I did. I was keeping up with live coverage.
Very cool. Very cool. It was awesome. Definitely the inclement weather made it interesting. Course changes was that's kind of where I wanted to start. What did you guys think about the course, the new layout?
I liked it. I think it's a much better way to hold a big event like that, just especially with the spectators. Harder or easier? I don't know.
I really thought it was going to be easier. I'm not sure if it played harder.
I think we were on the same mindset with that.
We did talk about that before.
We played it. Yeah. And I thought it was easier.
Yeah.
But now I kind of think it's harder.
Was it because of the weather it played harder? Because the holes they added were more in the open.
Yeah.
Less wood.
Some of the OB they put in the open too that I wasn't expecting to be there.
Yeah. What hole is that? I think it's 9 or 10.
Yeah, the one they added.
Well, they added 2 back-to-back. 9 was on blue originally.
Yeah, the 9-10 stretch.
They pushed that basket back, pushed the tee pad back, and then lined the whole fairway with OB. Which
it was hard.
I thought it was cool. I liked hole 18 was tough for FPO. It just averaged low.
Did they? What tee did they play from?
They played. So the one we played for. Shameless plug of our coverage of Brave the Midwest singles rounds on blue. So there's one 40 feet behind it.
Okay, so it's that one.
Yeah, which should be a par 4. They played it as a 5. It was a really easy par, and I think Henna Blomroos got eagle all 4 rounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
actually, I think I saw that. I saw certain people just getting 3s on that every time.
It's cool, but you kind of want to see. I love seeing the last hole be a par 4 or 5.
Yeah,
and I just wish it was a little harder so that if Evelina shanks a shot, it goes OB, and now it's they go to a playoff or it's closer.
Yeah,
a little more interesting at the end.
The MPO one was fine. I'm surprised they played as hard as it did, but I mean, people get very aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I generally think FPO should be playing harder tees, but that's a whole other discussion.
I agree with that as well. That's a topic for later.
Yeah,
but I liked it a lot. I
did too. I thought the coverage was great too.
Especially with the weather, how they came back and played at 6:30 in the morning.
It was crazy. Some pros are really mad about playing 2 rounds in a day, though, especially on black. Yeah,
I mean,
okay. The craziest thing of the tournament, though, is that the leading score after round 2 was an 11 down, and then going into round 3, still an 11 down. How does that happen?
Well, I think it's
that just doesn't happen anymore. Yeah.
Casey White was he was pushing that lead, and then he splits his finger.
I know
he's throwing with. I mean, you guys all know how much I care about grip. Imagine putting tape on the pad of your finger, throwing touch forehands. Him being a very avid spin putter, which is all about the feel on the disc. Forehands too. I don't know. It would ruin me, and I think it got to him a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
Fumbled.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, still a good finish overall.
Very reasonable, yeah.
He just finished outside the top 10 by a stroke, which is tough. But I mean, just all new faces.
Yeah.
Except Ricky, I guess.
And can we talk about how this
Antela
tournament
won earlier?
rates
Yeah, he did.
at some point? How
Sorry?
it rates?
It rates so poorly.
But it rates like good and bad.
It rates good for if you played bad and bad if you played good.
Exactly.
Too balanced.
Exactly.
And it's just tough because it's so easy to take a big number and it's very hard to birdie.
Yeah, there's just so many shots like across the whole course. Like the par is so much higher. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I kind of wished that they played this new layout 2 days and then they played the normal Northwood Black 2 days.
That'd be cool.
I think that would really give some more disparity.
Especially when you look and you see these scores, how much gray is on there. You know, like having this be like the one where it's like, oh yeah, everybody could be mixed up a little bit more, but then there's a couple rounds on a course that's a little more stable, or maybe does give that usual, getting ahead.
100%. And only 2 players did not take worse than a bogey the whole tournament. And Andrew Presnell obviously winning. And actually, college disc golf legend Robert Burridge did not take a double bogey at all.
That's really impressive.
It is really impressive. I mean, I think we go out there, we take double bogeys all the time.
We do.
But yeah, I mean, I thought overall, I love seeing these scores, man. I love seeing that, 4 down a round gets you a win at a major.
It's sick. Yeah.
It's so satisfying, and it was so cool to watch how they had to think through every one of their shots and really choose their battles.
It's harder. It's great. It's cool to watch.
Some
you
real
see a lot
golf.
of the more established veterans kind of at the top. Although a lot of people that like haven't won a major in contention too. But like Calvin gets up there. Like if you give Calvin, Ricky, like Matty O, if you give them enough time and enough rounds, that's what the 4-round formula like does for a lot of these old pros. It's like you give them enough rounds, like they're gonna rise to the top.
100%.
Slow churn, right? They're getting a little bit each time, not having just one hot round and then being exhausted the next day and falling back again.
Like if you look at Calvin's score, it was like a 2 down and like an even and like a 4, like nothing crazy, just keeping it consistent.
I mean, Ezra Aderholt shot 8 down, and I don't even see him in the top.
Course record.
Yeah. I mean, that was really cool to see. But also, I mean, the lead card going into the final day, no major winners.
Really?
This is Andrew Presnell, Andrew Robinson, Joseph Anderson, and Nicholas Antela. Antela now has 3 second-place finishes at majors.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
That would live in my head.
Yeah, that would be tough.
It's not like it was a close one. I mean, there was a few strokes here, so it's not like it's like, oh, that one shot, it's like 4 back.
Well, I mean, down the stretch, it really was close. And I think it was kind of crazy that Presnell parked that normal Northwood Black hole 8. He parked it. Like, he was like 15, 20 feet maybe.
Yes.
That's not parked. But for pros, it's pretty parked.
Oh, we're talking about
he airballed his putt into the river. And how many putting putters does he bag? 1.
So that's gone.
We were playing with a guy that said that he saw like someone go run to Presnell's car to grab.
So he ran.
putter.
I listened to the Tour Life podcast, and they had the same thing. And so he actually got in a golf cart. Someone picked him up and drove him there. And what's even crazier is he got the putter, but it was 167 grams, which in like these 25-mile-an-hour winds would be a night. I mean, 8 grams, whatever. I mean, still, but like that would live in my head.
Yeah.
And he just changed putters. So like,
Yeah.
which is just, that's a crazy formula.
You got to keep those putters. Major winner now.
I can't believe he didn't. I mean, I bagged 2 putters.
Right.
You got to have 2. You need to at least.
Yeah, even if it's 2 different things, you got to have 2 somethings.
Yeah, 2 things you can play with in some way. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he had a focus in the bag, he said, but he said that the way they fly is just so different. And I was like, wow, that would, imagine putting with like a different mold backup. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, besides that, Eagle returned as well. That was kind of the other storyline.
His timing was not great.
Yeah, the timing was bad. To be fair, okay, this is the worst tournament to come back for. His physical timing throwing didn't look great, but he did say he is healthy, which I think is a win for disc golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited. Oh, yeah. He adds a lot just to like the community of disc golf.
Go watch 2023. He's on so many lead cards.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see him win more in the future.
I think he's going to. I mean, MVP, they got some good plastic over there. Very consistent compared to a lot of other companies. And please sponsor us. But yeah, I mean, also Nick Relaford on the bag for Eagle.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I've played with him
Yeah.
at MPO tournaments. And I mean, he's a really nice guy. So that was fun to see. So that kind of rounds out our Champions Cup review. I guess we could do some FPO real quick.
Yeah, pull it up.
So FPO was interesting. Definitely, I think everyone just thought Kristen was going to run away with it because, like you were saying earlier, it was a lot of if you give them enough rounds, she almost always wins.
Exactly.
But that's not what happened.
No.
And Evelina Salonen just taking it down.
Well,
she was
wasn't
good.
her usual last round performance, like you just said. Like, you know, even if she does a steady like 2 or 3 under each round, like the last round was not that strong to pull ahead. You know, so.
She shot +3 and she was 3 strokes off the lead. If she shot even, she's there.
Right.
And I think that's something to say.
And +3, it's like that is like well below her rating too. Like she could really have shot par and won it. Like 947, like
well below.
Like black shorts is hard, but like it's not really be over par.
No
type of hard.
I mean, there are holes like hole 11 that just get neutered compared to the
I know,
yeah, absolutely.
And like that shot is what, like 260 straight, like a slight turnover or forehand, whereas normal hole 11 is just like that hole is so hard.
Yeah.
But also good showing by Rachel Turton. Haven't really heard of her.
Right? Like,
and she kind of came out firing. Silva Saarinen, also with a great showing, you know, fell off, but then came back strong at the end.
And look at that Missy Gannon 6 down final round.
Yeah,
that was
too bad. She had the bad round in between. I'm a big Missy Gannon fan. I like her style. She's a Woods player, you know, and she's not like the big power arm, you know. And to have a +6 and then a -6 back to back, it's like again, just even consistency. That's astonishing.
Just take out those middle 2 rounds.
Sure,
it's +9.
Started so hot, ended so hot.
The final,
yeah.
I mean,
that's a good scorecard
with a bogey on 1 and 16 and still shooting 6 down. I mean, I think that's
a 4 on 12 from the short tee is like pretty crazy.
It's no joke.
Like
super
pretty great, pretty great 4 to take.
It is. I mean, it is like kind of in the prime landing spot for.
It's like birdieing 12 if you remove the first like first really hard shot. Oh, I guess not really though because it adds a stroke. And like it's still a par 5, I guess it is a little easier. It's
still a great birdie.
A great birdie.
Like if I play that, I'm not getting a 4 most of the time. So
not a lot of people were. I mean, you look at that row. It's like only the 3 people near the top that even got a birdie on it.
Yeah,
everybody else is.
But the biggest takeaway from this for me was that one, Evelina won without she was like 76% inside C1.
yeah, that's crazy,
huge. But also the scoring separation is so much less than it was the last couple weekends, and that has and how it's been this season.
Or even just last year, like we were talking earlier about how stacked, we're seeing that with FPO now. It is so stacked that we're getting these 1-point separations instead of, like 2 people run away with it and then everybody else is way back there.
Yeah.
And then shout out Henna again for, eagling that last hole and putting pressure on Evelina.
No. So cool.
Like, that's awesome. I mean, it was more dramatic on the last hole than it was for MPO. But
especially considering Evelina, like, literally just parred the back 9.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. She did.
And Henna was, like, literally putting the pressure on. Way cooler to watch.
It was. It was a good watch for sure. So, well, why don't we move into some of our, this is kind of just, college disc golf's over. Nationals are done. Sad. We're all moving on to our own independent seasons. But we kind of had some talking points that we wanted to go through and just get everyone's ideas. We got a lot of different viewpoints on this panel of podcasters. So in no particular order, do you guys have somewhere you want to start between these 3 points I have?
I love the bullet point there that says Natty's in Peoria. I want to know what you're on about that, man. Like, that sounds awesome.
Hear me out. I'm going to give you my pitch, and then I want to hear your guys' response. Okay.
We will hear it out.
Peoria.
Yes.
It's
City
in Illinois. Or I guess Morton, too.
Yeah.
I have a couple points about Peoria. How many courses does Peoria have?
It's a lot. 30 or 40, because they use like all of them for Ledgestone. It's crazy.
And which is more than Rock Hill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And
there was like 6 in Rock Hill. I mean, if you counted Charlotte or whatever, obviously it blows up. But
yes, that's true. But they didn't use Charlotte, so. And lots of hotel and lodging, very centrally located in comparison to Rock Hill, South Carolina.
And I think that's like
that's my biggest point. And listen, I am very biased. I live in Illinois. I was born and raised here. I just think having it so centrally located would make driving way more feasible for majority of the teams.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I mean, who wouldn't want to see Northwood Black doubles final round between like 2 really good college teams? Because that course, it's not like lined OB. It is.
No, it's a separator.
Oh,
It's
you're on a
real OB,
hole.
real rough.
Yeah, you kick one way like you're gonna see great teams taking lies that are pitch outs.
Yeah, real pitch outs. Like, did we see any actual pitch outs at Natties this year? I mean, like, if you were in the rough, you're like, you still had a wide open view. Like, even if you're OB, you're like, oh yeah, just walk right back into the
you
screen.
step over that line of OB, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
The
All
only
these rocks
place
are in the
you
way.
could pitch out is Westminster, but like those holes are 200
They're
to
so
300
short.
feet. You know,
And
like
they're shredding. And I think personally, I mean, I'm very biased again, but I don't want to see doubles courses where you have to shoot 15 to 16 down to stay in.
I want to see Champions Cup stuff.
Exactly. And I just think, playing black, you could play black shorts for like D2 or maybe like the singles round.
Or like Northwood Blue.
Northwood Blue is a
Exactly.
great course.
So many.
you still got
McNaught
Sunset
and
Hills.
Wildlife,
Exactly.
Sunset, like the
Wildlife,
options.
Megiddo.
Exactly. Like
And they're all right
Eureka.
there in like half an hour
You
radius.
could, you could put Eureka Temp up if you want your
Could
open
100%,
course. Like
that'd be awesome. And the craziest thing is that wait, where was I going with this? Oh no. Oh no. Oh,
is
well, they
so
host
embarrassing.
AM Worlds and Junior Worlds there all the time.
That's true.
There's a reason people come here.
They've done everything in between. Like the AMs and the juniors, they jumped over college and then shot up to doing
so they're-
Ledgestones and
they're
pros.
having an Elite Series
major.
Plus event and a major here.
Exactly.
And it's just like, oh, actually, they probably can't because there are 2 majors here. Maybe that's why they did. No, they probably didn't
There's
even
only,
consider it.
well, it's only
Whatever.
one major.
Well, if
Oh,
they
and
were
then
to
it
have
would be
college, it
two
would be
this
2.
year.
But I
They're
think
like-
they're moving Champions Cup back to Georgia.
Yeah, that's the plan once the park is back in
I heard
shape.
they got more land out there, actually.
Oh.
Like the
that's
national
cool.
park donated them. But yeah, that's my pitch. Any thoughts?
I love
agree.
it.
Yeah, we both
like,
agree.
come on.
But like I think Natties should not always be on the East Coast. Like at the very least, I think it should rotate.
Yeah.
And like I understand that comes with a lot of logistical issues that we probably can't even think about or wrap our head around or consider right now. But we know it can happen. Like we can't like that. There's no way that should be out of the question. I think there's a lot going on with the fact that Innova is located in Rock Hill,
Sure.
but Ledgestone's here. That's a lot. That's huge.
Yep.
I mean, Midwest disc golf is some of the best disc golf.
Well, again, and
And most
for
active.
travel-wise, even the people coming all the way from West Coast, it still technically could be a drive, and then people coming again from all the, the flyover states, that your Kansas and everything will be able to come in pretty easily. I think the only thing, I love the thought, but the only thing that I would think would be missing is a good college course. I really liked how Winthrop was truly a university space, and that's one that, like, even thinking about our other points here of like what would be a cool tour or other spaces we'd like to see, it would be really neat to see more college campuses getting the benefit of hosting these big events, and then seeing like it becomes more of a college tour. The college administrations maybe see like this is something we should be spending our time investing in because we can bring in something unique. So now again, could be brought in. I don't know, Bradley had a course or something, but it's
There's
not
a
like,
cool
It's a
course at
small,
Bradley.
it's a smaller school, and I think that's where
It's like a
kinda gets-
D3 type of course too.
yeah. But that would be the only thing that'd be really nice to add to it.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
a great
that
point.
is true.
That's a good point.
Because there is something about being in the Winthrop arena,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it felt very collegey, you know.
It
And
did.
it was cool to see a campus that had supported disc golf that much. To
That
see
is
how
true.
much infrastructure they had, put in for that. That was amazing. So
That was really cool to see, yeah. And a great experience. And then to kind of build off of that, I was just brainstorming a lot, and I was like, well, why? They have all these regional events. They're kind of sporadic. They're all kind of run in a different way. What if they did some sort of college tour? Like, the disc golf has the pro tour. The college could have a tour in which, you play the courses that the pros play, but as a collegian event.
Yeah.
Because we played at Jonesboro.
We played at Jonesboro, Northwoods. We've played at
Winthrop.
Winthrop and Idlewild a couple years ago. But
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's great.
I just think you would get so much more participation if you advertised it as these are the next pros. This is the feeder teams into the next disc golfers. Like Robert Burridge played, Chandler Kramer played. There are a lot of people who come from college disc golf.
Would the idea be that the same guys are playing these tour events every time, or would it be like different teams throughout? Like,
That is the difference. Is like if you have a really well funded program, you could hit up like 6 stops in a row.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you could hit the one that comes locally.
yeah, and then you can have a bunch of different guys from the guys that are like the clubs that are a little less funded. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then I also think that would make ranking players a lot easier.
That's true, because there's more events in general, and you can rank guys against each other on
Exactly.
similar courses.
I think it's tough because the concept of a tour is that like you are kind of going out and like doing disc golf here, then traveling to here, then traveling to here.
Right.
With
strings
school.
together.
You
It's
can't
just like
do that in
misbranded a
college.
little bit. Yeah,
It's
But,
but
like,
I think
the idea is really good.
I agree, and maybe there should be a sort of event that's between a regional event and like Natties. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool?
There has to be.
And it's like there's kind of the conference events, but those kind of feel like less than a regional in a way.
Yeah,
like
step down for sure.
But like there should be something in between. That'd be cool.
It would. But I mean, like some events like Jonesboro felt huge because
Jonesboro was huge.
There were so many teams, so many players. They literally had to do A and B pool.
Yeah.
And then when we played Brave, it was like, oh, it's big. It's not huge.
Yeah, there were like 3 or 4 teams that I think were seriously in contention for the win. Whereas Jonesboro, there was 10 teams.
Yeah, and it was like a lot more ranked teams, a lot more ranked individuals. It was huge. I mean, I don't know. This is brainstorming.
If the idea, again, wasn't necessarily the touring aspect of it, but as you were saying, the hitting on the spaces you may play in the future if you're going to be a pro.
Right.
So even if it were just like, as you said, Jonesboro was so cool because then watching Jonesboro like not that long after, like we had just finished editing that. Cool. I looked at that, I'd walked it, like I knew that course, and it made it so different to like then watch it, other people playing it. So I think that would just be cool if there was just more of that. Well, we know some of these courses can handle the big pro events, so why shouldn't they be supporting some of these college events and figure out a way to, again, maybe not tour it because you can't go to all of them, but you could certainly say preview them, and then maybe over a career, like a 4 years in college, you could end up seeing 6 to 8 spots that you are going to be on pro tour stops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And also, I think there are a lot of courses that are not utilized for college. I mean, the Nashville course, I think that would be a great college course. No,
What?
The one they played Music City Open.
Oh,
because I mean, Tennessee has a lot of universities. I mean, we played with a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just an idea. I also thought they could separate them as to like, they have Silver Series. They could do something like that where you kind of mix the level of the event based on how many teams go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And size of the field. So, yeah, it was kind of...
Well, next levels, right? College disc golf is growing. We'll see maybe some of these happen in the next few years.
yeah.
I hope so. So
Very good spitballing.
I thought so. I thought...
They'll listen to us. We can take credit when this happens in
Exactly.
a couple of years. Like, they
didn't
totally
know.
watched our podcast. It's where they got all the ideas.
You think they watch? I hope so. I hope so.
Exactly.
I hope if someone was on a podcast talking about my organization, like I'd listen.
I mean, there's only so many out there, right?
Right? Like,
got to remember to hashtag them. I mean, make sure they know to watch.
Well, if you want to see
always
these
tag
happen,
'em.
you should, like, share, and subscribe.
You're so right. That's a
Go
great,
send it to the board members.
I say, are you friends with a board member? Are you related to a board member? Yeah, get them to sit down and listen to it.
Is your dad John Baker?
But seriously, if any of those people want to come on this podcast,
Yes.
always
Absolutely.
welcome.
Always, yeah.
Always just hit us up.
Yeah. We're definitely we still have to talk about what we're doing this summer based on kind of recording schedules and like podcast stuff. I
Yeah.
think we're going to try to do one for every major. I think that's the goal because then when Worlds comes, we'll be back in school for first semester of fall 2024. We can do Worlds review. We'll also have European Open review coming out too. We got Reels coming out. Go like, share, subscribe on those. But besides that, I mean, what else is new? I mean, our club just did elections and stuff. Like,
like we're rocking and rolling.
yeah, leadership looks the same, kind of. So
A little, actually, pretty different, I'd say.
a lot more
100% different almost. Actually,
a lot more younger people, which I thought was very
That's good. Good for the future of the club.
good sign. Exactly. So
Yeah, tell us what's going on with your clubs out there. I know a lot of people are wrapping up for college right now,
is true.
right? Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to hear, how are you planning for the next year and what did you learn from this year and what are you
Yeah.
looking forward to? Some of their, maybe here's some courses they'd like to see on the tour
Yeah,
or
right.
on the college circuit.
yeah, I think shout out Liberty's website again. That's awesome, man. I don't know. Yeah, we if you like, we would love to be able to get other colleges on the podcast. Commentary. We did commentary with ISU with Evan Bester, a member of ISU. That was really cool to do. Kind of just mixing and seeing what we could do together. Because I think as long as we incorporate other schools, it's gonna become a better.
We're trying to grow college disc golf.
not just
Exactly.
Illinois disc golf. Exactly. But yeah. So, any other thoughts?
No.
Midwest goodbye.
Midwest goodbye.
Awesome.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Can I
Send
do
it to the board members.
Can I do the bell thing?
Yeah, do the
Become
bell.
friends with board members and send it to them.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Board.
I don't know. I feel like we've already been Midwest and goodbye a little bit.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, we got any
Thank
other
yous.
Thank yous.
Yeah, let's first go. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Producing, setting
You're
up
welcome.
everything, being the guy who kind of gets us in here. So.
Yeah, right.
And Siebel Center for Design, which you run basically. So that's awesome. Great building, very cool building. Any thank yous?
Well, thank you, Dalton, for being our president. We
Yes.
should have mentioned that
Yeah,
we had
newly
elections.
elected.
Dalton's the president, so anything that
Feels
goes
deserved. Yeah,
poorly this
absolutely.
year, I
Blame
mean,
it on me.
right here, this man, and maybe we'll ask him some like hard hitting questions on a podcast and not tell him. Just like, Probably not. Make up a
Love it.
scandal, something.
But I think the club is in a good direction. There are a lot of other board members that I think have the best of intentions. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Thank you to the new board members.
Yeah. Thank you, new board members.
Yeah.
Yes. Very excited. We could definitely get on some board members and talk through their ideas for how we can run the club better.
We're just talking about how we're running our club, because again, there's probably groups that are both, fledgling starting up that don't know the things that we've already learned, and there's probably other groups that, obviously have gotten bigger or have more years in it. So yeah, starting the conversation. Let's learn from each other.
100%. That's the way to do it. Huge thank you to all of our sponsors of our club. Whale Sacks, actually. I got to shout out Whale Sacks. We have so many Whale Sacks, and they are just awesome. Like, they're nice people. They make a great product, and they're pretty cheap for what they do, and they last a while. So, I mean, I've spiked a couple out of anger, and they still hold up great.
They do. They hold up.
They take a drop kick.
A little
real good.
poof.
But yeah, last thank you, Trifox Disc Golf, for sponsoring the club. If you want to sponsor our club, please don't be afraid to reach out.
Yes.
We
are good timing. I love it. That's exactly what we're hoping for next year. Sponsor these podcasts, sponsor all of our video coverage next year. Just sponsor the club because you think we're cool. So these are all
your money goes straight to helping us play more disc golf.
That's right.
And we will spread your name. We will talk glowingly of you as long as you're a good sponsor. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode. I feel like this went very well, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.